A couple of years down the road, you are hanging out.
Yeah.
You kind of just need you really need the weekend, you know?
Hey, man, I get that feeling. I
Yeah.
feel it sometimes.
So you decide that you're gonna go to the carnival that's in town. It's
A
called
carnival, like with
Lanal
rides and
yeah,
stuff.
it's called Lanalax Carnivals.
Okay,
Fun for the family and others.
great.
So
Thank you for including that.
so you're like, you know what? I've never been to this carnival. It comes around like it only comes around every 17 years.
Okay, so this is like a big deal for Angelinos, Los Angelinos, whatever they call ourselves.
Yeah, I mean for all the for all the carnival heads out there, at the
Yeah.
very least. I mean, yeah, I mean for some people they're like, okay, it comes out every 17 years, who gives a fuck? But some people are like, holy shit, like the Lanalax Carnival?
Imagine the advancements in carnival technology over the last 17 years.
That's what
You
people are
know,
talking about. Yeah. They're
are
saying
they known to be like a cutting edge like operation?
bleeding edge.
Ooh,
So like the last time that they were there, um, like they had like really advanced like drones and stuff like
this is
that.
like '07.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
they had drones in '07. Were drones around? Like
I mean, the
on a
carnival,
scale?
Landlax Carnivals did.
Fuck. What were the drones doing?
It was mostly for as part of the carnival games. You know how there's those games where it's like you throw a ball and knock down a bunch of bowling pins or whatever and you win a
Yeah,
prize.
yeah.
It's sort of like that, except what it is you're given like water guns,
Okay.
and the drones fly around and the drones are holding what are those things called? Bullseyes in it.
Okay.
And if you hit the bullseye in the middle, the drone like explodes. And everyone
Whoa.
goes, ooh, because there's like fireworks and shit come out of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Seems like an expensive, like like a pretty significant cost if you're I mean, how often are they replacing these drones?
Well, I mean, keep in mind it's only one day every 17 years.
Oh, okay. I see.
So
So
they can
it's not like a weekend affair. It's just like it's popping off and then it's done.
yeah, this is a rarely occurring carnival. And so you are like, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go see what's there. It's sort of like it's almost like a World's Fair kind of thing, where it's like they're gonna show off like you'd said, the technologies and stuff like that. But also they're gonna have some pretty cool rides, you know?
Yeah.
And you just think, yeah, they have one where it's bumper cars. You call it playing bumpies,
No,
but
come on.
the cars also they come equipped with like heat-seeking missiles and like energy shields and stuff. So you can't actually kill each other, you know what I mean? Because of the force field that they have, the energy shields. But you're able
Oh,
to
thank
like,
God for the energy shield.
well, yeah. So it's almost like playing Mario Kart, except you're like actually driving around. They can go up to 120 miles an hour and you can crash
How,
dead
Pat?
on because it's just what
How
I don't
big is
know.
this fucking how big is this rink?
It's pretty big, dude. It's pretty fucking big. And so it just I don't know, it's just I guess they have really good bumpy technology. And so you can go 120 miles an hour straight into a fucking brick wall and you're not hurt at all. The force field kind of like saves you. You just kind of bounce around and go like, whoa. Like it's some people actually they're able to do it so that they can go up walls and stuff like that with it. And then every
Okay.
5 minutes, like the carney running the thing is just like, all right, get back, you know?
It's still but so even though this is like a top of the line bleeding edge carnival, it's still staffed by
Carnies, yeah.
Traditional carnies,
Yeah, of course.
stereotypical carnies.
Exact like the way that this guy looks, he looks exactly the way you're thinking. All of them do.
Tank
Just
top,
yeah, old school
bad haircut.
fucking carnies. There's a million kids underfoot, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
These are like this is like
None of them have shoes on.
no. And they have not had a like address in a very long time. You can tell.
Jesus, that's grim.
Yeah. But so you go there and um at one point you're just you ate some lunch and so you're kind of like all right, you don't really want to go on anything too twisty turvy or anything like that, you know.
Don't want to upset my tummy.
No, especially because you had a big bowl of beef stew and an entire baguette that you just like dunked in the stew and like and like ate.
An entire baguette.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they offer.
Oh my God.
A bowl of beef stew and quote on it says on the menu an entire baguette.
That's
And when you order, you go, so when it says an entire baguette, does that mean? And the waitress is like, yeah, dude, it means
and I
exactly
just
that
housed this entire baguette.
easily.
Oh
But
man.
that's because, you know, that's some pretty good beef stew that you're
Don't get
chomping
me
down.
wrong. I
Yeah,
love a good beef stew, but an entire baguette in one sitting?
an entire baguette. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And they're like, do you want one to go? And like you thought about
No,
it, but you're like,
no.
better not. So,
A second baguette? What the fuck, Pat?
so you you don't want to like you kind of want to keep doing stuff, you know, but you don't want to do anything too crazy. So you go to you kind of realize that you've stumbled upon like a merry-go-round on on the edge of the carnival.
Okay.
You go there and there's all kinds of different things on there on the merry-go-round. You know how sometimes they have one where they're like animals or whatever that go up and down, or sometimes they're spaceships or stuff like that. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Different theme
The
things.
different themes, yeah.
This is like whatever you can think of, it has basically. Star Wars merry-go-round thing, absolutely. You know, there's several Weekend at Bernie themed ones. Uh,
The Jonathan
there
Silverman fucking riding on his back.
you can like climb on top of it and go up and
Yeah.
down
That was the
and
first movie where
all
I ever saw
around.
boobs.
Really
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's at the drive-in, Belleville,
interesting.
Illinois.
And you kind of like remember that as you walk towards that merry-go-round, you think about those rocking pair of boobs that you saw oh so many
Yabos.
years ago. Yeah. And you kind of like and you just whisper to yourself, Yabo City. Because that's what you said the first time you saw them.
Oh man,
Yeah, you're like,
I
welcome to
wish.
Yabo City. So you go there and there's one of them that for whatever reason, there's one that really catches your eye. It's a unicorn. And you look at it.
Oh, the merry-go-round. I thought we were never mind. A unicorn
Yeah.
on the merry-go-round.
Yep.
So this is a merry-go-round with it's not just whatever theme I want. It is literally a collection of various themes.
Basically, yeah.
But it sounds like it's gigantic.
It's quite big. Yeah, it's quite big. Um, and so you get on there, and as it's like coming around the curve, you know, you see the unicorn, and it's like you lock eyes with this thing, and you think to yourself,
Okay.
"I'll tame that beast."
My magical steed.
Yeah. You get closer, and you see, and you don't know how exactly you know this, but like when you see that the unicorn what's it called? The horn or whatever
Horn.
on the end, you look at it and you realize like that's the unicorn giving a middle finger. You know it in your fucking heart. You look at it and for just a second, it's like it's a gigantic middle finger sticking out right fucking at you. And you're kind of
I
like,
feel
oh,
that way.
yeah, you're like taken aback for just a second. And then you're like, yeah, that's
Meant for
absolutely the one I
me.
want. Yeah.
Oh, and
So,
that compels me to like choose that one.
yep.
I I would feel put off by a giant feeling like this is a middle finger directed at me.
Well, it's more like it's just sort of directed out. You know what I mean? It's like it's just walking around
Oh,
like,
okay.
flipping the bird like
Fuck
to
you.
everybody. Yeah, like fuck
Okay,
you.
okay, yeah, then yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant it was like, hey, fuck you in
Oh no.
particular.
No,
Okay,
no, no, no,
yeah,
no, no, no,
then
no, no,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
the fuck unicorn.
Yeah. So you walk towards that fuck unicorn and you like straddle yourself over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You hug the side of it with those heart-stopping thighs,
you know what?
those calves of plenty, and
Got great calves. I got to be honest with you.
you just grip onto that fucking unicorn,
Yeah,
and it goes up and down and up and down. And even though this can't possibly be, it feels like the other animals or vehicles or people or whatever on the merry-go-round, it's almost like they're kind of keeping their distance from the unicorn. You actually realize that there's actually quite a large area around yourself that's just no one there, you know?
just platform.
Yeah.
So these
Pla-
things can fucking move.
Platforms stained with red. And so you just kind of feel like almost like they're like as far away as they can be, like they're stretching, straining even. One of them is it's Hercules atop a kraken, and you can swear that you see his like a vein in his neck as he's just straining to be away from this fucking unicorn.
Jesus Christ. Why is everybody avoiding this unicorn so heavily?
I don't know. I mean, this can't be. This actually can't be. This is just a thing that you're feeling and a thing that you're seeing.
You said that I saw a vein in the neck of Hercules, and I saw him straining. So I'm curious.
So what it is it's Hercules atop a kraken, and he's like on all fours. You know what I mean? Grabbing it and like having this crazy adventure, and he's going like, oh, and the way that you ride it is you ride atop his like his butt. You know what I mean? You sit on his butt as he's just like straining. And the pole that's coming up is like a pole that he's holding to, you know what I mean? That he's using to like fight the Kraken. And you just sit cheek to cheek on this sculpture of Hercules as he faces destiny on the merry-go-round. So you're on there for a second, and you just feel the fucking wind hit your face, and you are feeling good. It's one of those LA evenings that just make you feel good just by virtue of being outside, being alive.
Yeah,
And you feel very grateful for that feeling because
sure.
things at work you're coming to a boiling point. You're coming to a
Yeah.
head with it. Yeah. You're sick of it, man. You're sick of the blatant sometimes disrespect that the people you work with have for you.
Oh, that sucks.
These guys, not only do they not seem to care about your well-being, they actually will use you to like better themselves. You know what I mean? In a
Okay.
very cruel and mocking way.
Yeah, that
You
sucks.
you are a referee for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it doesn't suck as bad.
Well, the thing is that you went into this thinking that you were actually like gonna ref an actual
I would know
basketball,
better, Pat.
but you didn't know it was Harlem Globetrotters. And so you got there and you were kind of like amazed
How did
at
nobody
like how
tell me?
I guess they all
Of,
just thought it was obvious, but you didn't
I
you
mean,
didn't realize.
of all teams to referee against, the Harlem Globetrotters is the one you're going to have to look the other way the most on.
And that's the thing that you figure that out, but like at first you're like trying to call people for traveling and stuff like that, or just at some point, sometimes the players they get like microphones that they start talking into, and you're like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got a shot clock, fellas.
And they're doing some stuff where like at one point one of them you notice that like one of them is like doing all these illegal moves, and so you walk over to like scold them, and then one of the other players goes, "Hey ref," and you go, "Huh?" And you look over, and then one of them just like pulls your pants down, and
Come on.
you're wearing white boxers with red hearts on them, and
Fuck.
everyone laughs.
God damn it. It's the worst.
So you're starting to acclimate, but you still take everything personally. And you shouldn't. You know these guys are just, doing their jobs, but you still are like you just drive home like, fuck, what do I have to do to like get these guys
Yeah,
off
yeah,
my
yeah.
back? You know what I mean? You're like, it's not my fault that I care about the rules. God forbid someone cares about the rules.
That's true.
So you finally get to
Sucks.
the like you do like one full circle around it, because it's so big
Yeah.
that takes like several minutes. And you
Okay.
get back to the front, and there's like like the carney who works there is standing there, and he's just all bug-eyed staring at you.
Okay. That's probably, expected. A bug-eyed, stare.
Yeah, as you get off and like walk off the merry-go-round, he goes, "You tamed her. You tamed the beast."
I don't want to be a part of any carnivore. You know, I'm sure this guy's got more stories than I've breathed breaths, but
Sure.
I don't.
He goes, he looks at you. He goes, "We haven't been able to get that thing to work for several years."
This guy has a curious accent,
His
I will
accent
say.
is constantly changing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's
He's
constantly
traveled
changing.
so much that like at 1 second he's like, "Hey, I'm walking here," but then sometimes
Oh, okay.
he's like, they say Georgia has the finest peaches, and I do declare that they
So
do.
he pulls a
Oh,
Georgian accent when he's talking about Georgia, or
well,
he's like, does
well,
this
yeah, I
guy
mean,
just have a thing for peaches?
so it's not just, well, yeah, he does, to be honest with you. He does enjoy himself a good peach. No one ever said he didn't. It's mostly that, yeah, his accent does change depending upon what he talks about sometimes. Like if he talks
Okay,
about crabs, he'll get a Maryland accent, Oh, these
yeah.
crabs are fantastic. But then
I
if he
couldn't stand
talks,
being around this guy. There's a reason why they've got him out on the fucking merry-go-round.
yeah, and,
Keep this guy away from paying customers.
and he goes, "We haven't been able to get that to work for years. How would you do it?" Because it's like he's like, "It hasn't gone up and down since me grandfather's father."
You mean your great grandfather? Are you aware that there's a term for that?
He just kind of blinks at you like he doesn't get what you're talking about. You actually hear it go bink 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 when he
Oh
blinks.
no, this guy sucks. What's his
That's how
name?
confused he is. This guy, his he's just known as uh Uncle Davy Train.
Oh God, what
Yeah.
an awful Uncle Davy train.
Yeah, his name is David Train, and people call him Uncle Davy Train. Toot
Real name
toot,
David Train.
motherfucker.
Oh
Yeah, he
no,
wears a shirt that says that. Toot toot, motherfucker.
how many of those does he own?
He just owns like the one,
Oh man,
but he washes it every night and like puts it outside to dry. No one ever fucks with it. No one
he
ever
erects
would.
a clothesline every night
Huh?
wherever he is.
He's a traveling man, you know?
All right,
Uncle Davy
toot toot,
Train.
motherfucker.
And so you're just sort of like, all right, and you just like walk away. So You walk back to your car. It's been a pretty full day, and you are feeling excited about getting back home to your newest hobby. Aaron, I got three words for you.
What?
Ham radio, baby.
Oh no. The
You
tastiest of all radios.
you get really into ham radio. And that's why
Man,
you first got into it because you were just thinking about like, oh, maybe I need a new hobby, and then you for some reason the phrase ham radio popped into your head and you were like, huh. And before you even knew what you were doing, you were like eating a ham sandwich and you were like, what? Oh, okay. And so you just decided like, fuck it, that's like clearly a sign. So you've gotten really into ham radio. Sometimes you talk to people, sometimes you actually just, go on there and put your thoughts out into the world in a way that, you kind of remember the old days where you used to be able to do broadcasts like this, amateur broadcasts, and not worry about it being recorded for all time. You know what I mean? Put on YouTube or whatever. It's just the old fashioned way of broadcasting, you know?
it's like this ephemeral thing,
Exactly.
and then it's gone. And it's all about being in the moment.
And like you're like really looking forward to it. And so
Okay.
you're
I
walking
mean, that
back.
sucks. I would rather do anything than take up ham radio.
Why?
It just feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy, is all, you know? Ham radio. It's just,
You got one sent to you in the mail, and the where the return address should be, it was just a question mark in blood red letters or color.
I don't like this.
So you were kind of like, huh? And you opened it up and it was just a ham radio, and you were like, what the fuck? But then you started thinking about there's something romantic about doing this, about just like, hey man, I'm broadcasting because I love to do it. And there's only a few people listening, but I am doing this for the love of the game.
To
In
be
an
clear,
era
it's not sexual romance. Nobody has ever gotten
that's
turned
not
on
no.
from ham radio.
You do a little bit when you do it
No,
sometimes,
I'm not
but
getting a fucking boner because of ham radio.
just a little when you do it. When you're
No,
really
Pat,
you call it hamming it up. When you are really hamming it up, you do kind
not
of get
getting it.
just a little, no big deal, you know. So you just kind of think that to yourself, like, so you have like a couple people that sometimes you talk to, but you definitely have like dedicated listeners. There's people who they're truck drivers, they're driving by,
Sure.
and sometimes you talk to them, and sometimes you kind of put on a show, for them. You read sometimes you read like short stories. Um, sometimes you've been experimenting with.
JOI.
I'm sorry, JOI. Did you say?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah. Uh, like throughout your performance, you will always act like you're about to give one, but like you never do. So
Oh, I'm just teasing them
yeah, you're just teasing, which is
with a
kind of
J.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you
Your brother would have laughed at that.
absolutely. So you're just thinking to yourself like, yeah, this what a like a cool thing to start getting into. And so there's truck drivers who they will tell other truck drivers they're friends with, like, yeah, when you're traveling through this part of Los Angeles, like tune to this frequency because if Aaron Brooks is going ham that night, then you're not gonna forget it. Yeah, I'll tell you that. And they won't. So
This sucks so bad.
what why?
It just feels so fucking desperate. It feels so desperate. And that is just like one more inch towards the end of the rope.
So
What's after this?
yeah, well, what could there be?
Carrier pigeon.
You walk back to your car and you look over and you see there's like these kids like doing like front flips and like cartwheels and stuff. And he looks over at you and you look over at him and you guys both just start doing like a whole like flip routine. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of
God damn.
cartwheels and like you flip and you like you guys are perfectly in sync and you land just in front of your car. And he's just like, whoa, and you're like, hey, thanks, kid, and you keep walking.
Just like in Tom Cruise in the firm, just like that.
Just like it. You had just watched that movie last night. So you're thinking like
Yeah.
maybe that's why that happened. So you jump into your car and you go home and you fire up that fucking radio. You're like, you started off the way that you always do. You're like, breaker, breaker 900. Good evening out there to all you ham heads and lonely hearts. Welcome to Brackensian Theater with me, Aaron Brooks. Glad to have you here on the old pipeliner. Go ahead and hit me with your call sign if you're listening. And then, people are they like, like horny toad 420, um, gypsy rose 420, um, black cat hunter 426.9. Like they're all like coming in.
Why are all these 420 people? Is that just the crowd that I collect?
I guess. I mean,
Or is that the crowd that's out there on the road, stoned out of their just driving stoned out of their minds?
well, I mean, they got to kill the board in some way, I guess. So you go on there and you do like your regular thing where you kind of just start talking about just your opinions on stuff and kind of what happened during your day and stuff like that. Uh, you do that for, 45 minutes or so. And you're like, all right, signing off. You hop into bed and go to sleep. You dream of a howling void. You wake up the next
Right.
morning because you kind of feel something like kind of wet almost against like your cheek.
It
Wet, but
wakes
like
me up out of a
slight,
sleep,
yeah, wet and slightly rough. Not quite like sandpaper, but
like a cat's tongue.
you kind of like go, huh? And you open your
Huh?
eyes. And in your bedroom is a unicorn.
What the fuck?
And you
A
look up at
unicorn, a full size unicorn.
give flipping that fucking bird, dude. You know that that's what it's doing.
It needs to calm the fuck down. If it's gonna be in my fucking bedroom, waking me from my sleep, it needs to calm down.
So the unicorn, you get the feeling that it can't talk, but it definitely understands what you're saying. It has, sort of what's that called? Empathic abilities, kind of able to pick up on. So it kind of gets that you're like kind of annoyed. So it kind of goes like, ooh, like, and goes back a
Okay.
little bit, winks at you.
Don't like that.
From in your kitchen, you smell sizzling bacon.
What the fuck? Why?
The unicorn like kind of turns around and like walks out of your bedroom towards the kitchen.
Did this unicorn make me breakfast?
What do you do?
Is that what we're getting to? I go out and look at where the fuck the smell's coming from.
And on the table in front of you is in finest china dishware is a breakfast to remember. Bacon, eggs of all types. There's
What?
toast with jam, many, many jams. All kinds of there's a couple of short stack of pancakes. The kitchen is spotless. The unicorn kind of like smiles at you and kind of like goes like, like kind of, with its head to kind of go like, hey, sit down. Pretty cool, huh?
Man, I love breakfast so much.
You you say that as you sit down. Man, I love breakfast so much. And
But
as
where
you,
did all this come from? You know?
the unicorn made it.
Yeah, but it sounds like number one, it's a lot of food. Where did it get the grocery? Did it pull it out of my fridge?
You sit down and you have those questions to yourself, but they disappear the second you put that first bite of egg into that open, eager mouth and chew because it is the
Gross.
best breakfast that you have ever had in your fucking life. I got to be honest
Sounds
with you.
great.
Yeah. And so you finish eating, and yeah, it's like way too much. You don't eat all of it. And you kind of go like, oh, like I'm stuffed, and you get up and you walk over into your kitchen and you turn around and like all of the plates have been like cleaned and like left out to dry and shit like that. Like your table is back to normal. The unicorn is like looking at you and kind of like does that thing where like you it raises both eyebrows at you, like, huh?
Yeah.
Like what like almost like it's saying, like, what do we do next, brother?
I don't understand this relationship. I was just woken out of my sleep to an incredible breakfast cooked by a magical steed.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do we do next? I
Like
have
it's
no fucking idea.
so it walks over to the front door and kind of like juts its horn against it lightly just to be like, hey, let's, like open the door, let's go. What do you
Fine.
do?
I open the door.
You open the door and he does this thing where he hooks his like neck underneath you and kind of goes like whoop and scoops you up onto its back. And even
I
though
am
it's
not comfortable with that.
and even though you're not there's no saddle on it, you fit perfectly and you feel like there's no way you're going to fall. Like you just feel absolutely safe on this beast's back and it fucking runs and it doesn't stop running for quite some time. And
Man,
you and the unicorn, what would you name it?
does it have a name already? Or I have to name it?
You get a feeling that like every time the unicorn reveals itself, every time to its chosen rider, uh you get to like it gets a new name.
I'd call him the horn dog.
So Horn Dog gallops for like a few.
Actually, hang on. I'm gonna take this back.
Okay.
I'm gonna call him uh Josh Horn after
Josh
my good
Horn.
friend Josh Horn.
Okay.
He doesn't
So
listen to the show, so
you thought about calling him Horn Dog, but then you were as it was like galloping down, you saw a sign that said, "I'm with Josh Horn," and you were like, "Huh." And you just started calling it Josh Horn after that. So Josh
Josh
Horn
Horn.
takes you on quite an adventure. You run around the countryside of Los Angeles, run down to the beach. You run downtown. It takes you to a Chinese place that you didn't even know was there, and it is fantastic.
Can anyone else see this unicorn?
If they do, they don't really react to it.
Can they see me?
Yeah, I mean they know you're there, but it's like everyone looking at you sees something different. None of them can actually see the unicorn. So to some of them, you're just sort of like some of them see you as just like running really, really fast. Some of them see you on like a bike or a scooter or like a car or something. It
Okay.
really depends upon the person. Depends upon their mood.
So whatever it's
Yeah, it has
masking my true appearance with a different form of transportation.
yeah, it has magical, abilities. So you go
Josh
out,
Horn.
so you and Josh Horn go out and you have like, a pretty intense day together. You go back to your house and you're like, holy fuck. And it kind of like, puts its neck down and you just slide right off. You slide down its tender, elegant neck, and then you kind of like your butt hits like the top of its like skull and you kind of go like, whoop, whoa, and like land on the ground perfectly.
That sucks.
It looks at you and it kind of like it winks at you again and it turns
Man,
and
I don't why is this winking at me?
it turns and gallops away. But you feel like, it's a wild animal, but like you feel like it'll come back again.
Yeah, probably. It made me breakfast.
So you go back to your house, you sit down and you're like, that was fucking weird. You go to your you call it your ham bone to do your ham radio show, and you're like, Breaker Charlie, Breaker 9 Alpha. This is Aaron Brooks checking in. Sound off, brothers. And like it's all you hear is like a crackle, like a coming back. And you're like, uh, is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? And I hear is like coming back to you. And you're sort of like, all right, well, like whatever. Like sometimes there are some people who listen to you who don't, they're kind of shy. They
Sure.
don't do a check-in. So you kind of just start like talking, start doing your regular thing. You're like, so do you consider a cheeseburger a sandwich? Let's break this down.
No, no. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm that level. Oh,
And then you hear like through the ham radio, you just hear like, what do you
somebody's
do?
like calling my name through the ham
Yeah.
radio. I
What do
would
you do?
go, speak up. I can't hear you.
You hear, give us the steed, Aaron. It does not belong to you, Aaron.
You're right. It doesn't belong to me. I don't know where the fuck it went. It made me breakfast. We ran around the city. It took me to a Chinese place I didn't know existed. And then it dropped me off and winked at me and left my life. I don't know. Do your own homework. I don't have it. I don't have it. It left my side.
You hear like, check your pocket, Aaron. You're like, huh? And you put your hand into your pocket and you pull out like it looks like a one of those like pill container things. You know what I mean? Those orange see-through
Yeah, yeah.
things, and it says unicorn poison on it. And they
I'm
go,
not gonna
and
poison a
they go,
unicorn.
you know what to do, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this in the fucking trash.
You've always known.
I'm not gonna poison a unicorn that's done nothing but been nice to me because
Yeah.
I heard a fucking weird voice on a CB radio. I'm not trusting those people.
So the line like your ham bone just kind of like dies. You can't broadcast
Right.
anymore. So you're like,
Great.
ah, fuck. So you go to sleep. You dream of a howling void, and
Great.
you wake up to the smell of sizzling French toast. You walk
Where the
into
fuck is he getting all these eggs from? You said yesterday he had several different kinds of eggs. Now he's
yeah,
making me French toast. Like, I don't have that many eggs in my fridge.
you walk into the kitchen, and on the table is another just sumptuous breakfast.
Yeah.
This time the unicorn is like eating with you. It has like a just a bucket of slop.
I would pull out the pill and I would go, somebody gave me this. It's to poison you. Why do people want to kill you?
And it kind of looks at you and like it kind of gives you like a confused face and like it kind of like motions for you to like bring it closer. What do you
I'm
do?
not gonna. It's poison. I'm not bringing it any closer. I'm gonna throw it in the fucking trash.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna throw it in a garbage can outside where you can't dig around and get in there.
you throw it at the garbage and it misses like completely. It hits the wall and like the thing bursts open and you look over at it and a pill like flies into the
Are you
unicorn's mouth
fucking kidding me?
and it kind
Are
of goes
you
like whoop
fucking kidding me?
and it looks at you with like just a
That
look of like betrayal on its face.
what the fuck, man?
And then he runs you through with his fucking
Oh
horn,
god damn it.
that middle finger coming out of that
Josh
fucking
Horn.
head with the last ounce of strength that he has. He does that, and then he kind of just like ooh, like falls over. The thing about unicorns when they die is they just instantly turn into a skeleton. So it turns into a skeleton before your eyes, and you just like look into its skull as you bleed out.
Fucking sucks. You kidding me?
You hear that voice over the ham radio go,
Who cares?
"Thank you, Aaron."
Fuck
Shh.
you. Fuck you.
So that unicorn was like the last remaining source of like innocence in the world. And since you killed it with the unicorn
I didn't
poison,
kill it.
within 15 years, the nation collapses because like there's
Fine.
just no innocence left. You know what I mean?
Who cares?
And but that's 15 years after your fucking death.
Yeah, I'm already fucking dead. Who cares?
You killed
I did
innocence.
nothing. I didn't do that.